Shelton on the three-point line. 2 seconds. One gets off the shot, and it's good. Oh, my. And I guess that tells you all you need to know about this first quarter.
Brooks comes up with it, gets it to Myers down the court, and he's got a wide-open dunk, and he throws it down. Myers with a right-hand jam makes it 24-10.
Warren gives it off to Holzhauer, fires it out front. Conley with a three. Good, and a foul to go with it. How about that? And good morning and good Saturday morning, I should say, and welcome to another edition, the first edition of 2026 of the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz back from sabbatical, and we're here live from the Chronicle Telegram studios here of WEOL.com to bring you this edition of the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. And it's brought to you by the folks at the Nick Abraham Auto Mall, and that means Nick Abraham Elyria Ford and Nick Abraham Buick GMC, located at 57 and Broad Street in Elyria. Also by the folks over at Eco Tree Services and LMRE, Lorraine Medina Rural Electrical Cooperative, your local Touchstone Energy company. Also, Lorain County Community College. They'll have a few things to say throughout our broadcast as well. My partner here knows all about the college. We're actually going to catch up with some personnel from the college hoops team later on today as the boys team making a trip out to PA. We're going to catch up with Marty Eggleston later this first hour. But Ron, a very happy new year to you and yours. Good to have you back, and good to be back here with you for the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, the first one of 2026.
Jared, happy new year to you as well, and everybody who's watching this morning and is a part of our WEOL Chronicle Telegram listening audience.
Well, it was a light schedule last night in terms of things. We had a ball game over at Lorain, but just kind of the holidays. I think, well, they're not quite officially behind us, as there's still a few other ancillary things that people celebrate. But I think basically once we get back to school and people come back from vacations next week, you're kind of back in the swing of things as far as conference games and regular nights that you're going to play. But a light load last night as things were concerned, hoops wise, and not a whole lot going on today either. We'll talk about that as the show rolls along. But I wanted to get you the scores from last night. And over in the Great Lakes, the Greater Cleveland Conference, rather, we had a game over at Lorain. It was Strongsville. They took apart the Lorain High Titans 82-55 to get their first conference win of the campaign. Ryan Kilbane will join us just a couple of minutes here to recap that one, as he was on hand with a pretty good-looking Strongsville team last night over at Lorain. Brunswick knocks off Medina, two teams that know each other real well, GCC play, 58-57. That one goes to overtime to do it. Joe Mackey of the Brunswick Blue Devils program, he'll join us later on this hour, coming up at 9:50.
In the SBC last night, Margaretta, if you were at Vermilion High School, you saw one of the top players in the state of Ohio this year for Margaretta, Dayton commit. Margaretta knocked off Vermilion 78-48. In the North Coast Conference, Elyria Catholic, a big win against Lake Catholic, 53-47. And Firelands, a tough one last night. At home, they lost to Twinsburg 55-53.
Yeah, getting the update on that one from Chronicle Telegram photographer David Richard. He said, Firelands was up in a really physical game at the end of three quarters, 40-38. He said it was one of the more physical games that he's seen in quite a while, let alone in 2026. So just a tough one for Colin Myers and the Falcons as far as getting the campaign started in 2026. College hoops, the Ohio State Buckeyes took down Rutgers last night by a score of 80-73. And in the association, the Cleveland Cavaliers, winners of 3 in a row. People were writing the epitaph on the Cavs right around Christmas. And, a week later, Cavs put a few wins under their belt, and they defeated the Denver Nuggets last night, 113-108. Denver, of course, without all-world center Nikola Jokic. He'll be out for 4 weeks, they say. So I'm not going to give the Cavs just a pass on that one. It's still a good Denver team they knocked off last night.
Well, the Cavaliers went from darling to stepchild very quickly. It was interesting to see how fast that happened. How the talk was, is the coach the right coach? Do we need to blow the team up? It happened quickly.
Well, I guess I would go with this, Ron. You've got the 1 seed captured last year, and you make what I think most people would consider to be an early exit in the NBA playoffs. Maybe coming from behind is not such a bad deal. Maybe if you climb up to that 4th spot by the end of the season, you secure home court, you do some of the right things, and maybe you don't have to try to hold court and be at that top dog pace the whole way. You can play a spoiler role.
So low expectations are better.
I didn't say that. I said based on last year's result, it's not the end of the world, and I thoroughly believe that. So that's what happened in the association last night. Some games that we want to talk about and some other events going on here today, Ron. It is a little bit more robust of a schedule. Boys basketball non-conference, Elyria Catholic takes on St. Thomas Aquinas. We're going to catch up with Jason Smith in just a few minutes, talk about his team's win last night, and again, a unique showcase that they're in this afternoon over at Worcester Triway, beginning at 1:30. Avon and Brookside battling it out in a non-conference affair later on tonight.
That'll be a good one.
We're going to have that one. Rocco Nushi over at Brookside tonight. We're going to catch up with both coaches in the 10 o'clock hour to preview that one. Black River makes the trip over to Rittman as far as boys hoops is concerned. Ron, if you want to take us through a kind of abbreviated girls slate.
Well, Vermilion at Huron at high noon today in the Sandusky Bay Conference. Greater Cleveland Conference, you've got Lorraine traveling to Strongsville. Last night, the boys of Strongsville were at Lorraine High School. And North Coast Conference, we'll talk to Eric Rothgary, the head basketball coach of the EC girls. They are hosting Lake Catholic today at 1 o'clock. And then in the non-conference schedule, Fairview's at Clearview. That's a 1:30 game. Elyria hosting Hathaway Brown. HB, always a strong girls basketball program. That's a 12:30 tip. And then at 1:30 this afternoon down in Black River, in Sullivan, Plymouth travels to Black River. Something I'm excited about. We got our partner Tom Evans coming on the show this morning to talk, of course, wrestling.
Worldwide Evans right now. I mean, he's everywhere today. You look at that slate of wrestling, and Tom, we won't do it justice, but we'll let Tom go. He's going to be over at Columbia this morning. That's the Wasako Memorial at Columbia, and that's to become just a giant event. So Tom's going to start his day there. I don't know if he finishes there, Ron. I think he's got other options that he might take a look at, but Tommy will bring you up to speed on everything going on wrestling-wise in the area, and it's a lot. There's a lot of schools in action today. So
I think Tom finishes his day on the treadmill. I think that's where he'll be.
That's a lot of pressure. I think Tom's listening, and I think he's dialed in, and you're going to have to do some explaining. You're putting a lot of pressure on him right now.
Well, he's got one in his basement. He's got a man cave down there with all his Ohio State memorabilia, and he's got a good setup.
We always like going over there. Yeah. That's headquarters. So we can always retreat to the Evans household if the walls are closing in. I like to think about that.
Tom's wife's brownies are some of the best around, if not the.
So we have that to look forward to. In addition to everything going on there, we're going to take a quick time out, and we hope to catch up with Ryan Kilbane. We had his game last night. Ryan, of course, we'll talk about it. Did some work for WEOL probably about close to 15, 20 years ago maybe, and then moved on to other things. But an alum of the 95 Strongsville Mustangs team and back in the saddle as the head coach. So his Mustangs looked good last night over at Lorraine. We'll get his thoughts on the other side of the break. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. We are online at WEOL.com and also on the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Lorraine Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
Anyway, welcome you back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, live from the Chronicle Telegram, WEOL.com studios. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yant, and we're joined now by victorious Strongsville Mustangs head coach Ryan Kilbane. His Mustangs come off of an 82-55 victory over Lorain last night, a game that Ron and I were on hand for. Ryan, good morning and welcome to the program.
Guys, how are you? Good to be here.
Well, it's good to see you again. It feels like just about 12 hours ago that our paths crossed, and I was explaining to our audience that, Ryan, you and I got a little bit familiar with each other close to 20 years ago now here at WEOL when you were doing some games. So Tim Alcorn and you had teamed up on a couple of broadcasts, and it was good to see you again, obviously, and great to see you having success over at Strongsville. A strong campaign last year. Struggling a little bit out of the gates this year, but you get your first conference win of the season last night, and it comes in pretty dominant fashion over Lorain on the road, 82-55.
Yeah, well, first of all, I appreciate it. It was good to see you guys last night. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I did that. Again, I appreciate you guys being out there. Yeah, it was. Look, we've I told Ron before the game. We graduated 98% of our scoring. I mean, it's not an excuse. It is what it is. And we graduated some really good players. And if you look at our roster, our 13, 14 guys of the roster, we have one starter back in Brandon Byers. And we had one kid in Matt Hefke and even Shane McIntyre, who played a little bit of a role the last couple of years for them, but not much. And other than that, we're putting guys in positions that have never played before. And you guys know our conference. And if you look at our schedule, we're throwing guys in that haven't played a ton at the varsity level against really good opponents, both in our conference and outside of our conference. So to go on the road last night, we had a really good week of practice. I know with the holidays in there, it got chopped up a little bit. But the one thing, and I told the kids after, the one thing I respect about them, and I'm proud that they haven't checked out. It'd be easy. You're 1-6. You've lost some tough games. You've gotten beaten up a little bit. These guys are locked in the film room. They're locked in practice. They're locked in. We had a walk through yesterday, and I'm most happy for them. We played really, really well. We were tied at half against Cleveland Heights on the road. We were down 4 to Medina at home. We had the lead in the third quarter against Nordonia. We've had moments. We just haven't put it together until last night, and I think it's a sign of things to come. I'm really proud of the kids. And I know Lorain is struggling, but they got some guys that can play. We watched them on film. I mean, they had the lead against Brunswick in the third quarter. Brunswick's really good, so I'm really proud. The ball finally went in the basket, which is great last night, and we defended really, really well. And so I'm really proud of the way they performed last night.
Ryan, I want to talk to you about that defense that you mentioned. It was a zone. First time I've seen you play this year, so that may be a signature of a Ryan Kilbane team. You may be Jim Boeheim, where you just run zone defense all the time. But it was really good last night. I think it completely just stunted anything offensively that Lorain wanted to do, and you extended that zone, deep on the perimeter as well, and they struggled last night from outside the arc.
Well, I don't know about. Hopefully, we get to where Jim Boeheim is. We're clearly not there yet. No, to be honest with you, Ron, that is the first time we've played zone this year. We've as coaches, you always have to look at your personnel and where you're at, right? And we kind of made a decision after losing to Westlake a few days prior to the Lorain game that maybe we're a zone team. Let's give it a shot. And so I was at Brunswick for 7 years as an assistant. Coach Mackey runs a really good matchup zone. And I got to also thank my assistant, Coach Eicher, who also ran it as well when he coached the girls in the past. And so we kind of put our heads together and said, hey, let's put something up, I think, that maybe fits our personnel. And so again, it's a credit to the kids. We said, hey, listen, we're going to switch things up a little bit. Let's try this and see what happens. And we did really well. Now there's some things we have to get better at, and we will. We played a 1-3-1. That's the first time we've played that all year. And so we thought it was a game that we could be effective with, that we had to extend it because of their guards. Their guards are really good. I mean, you saw in the second half what
Right.
Jackson did in the second half. He's really good. And so we knew he was out for a couple games. We had an inkling he was going to be back last night. So we had to find their shooters on the perimeter. And then as the game went along, we kept switching it a little bit to kind of throw them off balance because of their talent in the backcourt. Listen, the teams we play in our conference, even Lorraine is struggling. They got guys that can play. Brunswick,
Yeah.
Medina, Shaker Heights, Cleveland Heights. I mean, you go right down the list. You have to be able to play multiple defenses. It's like I compare it to a really good quarterback. You can't show them the same look all the time. And so for us right now, we're learning to play at this level. So we got to show teams different looks, and we just kind of committed to it over the last week, and it looked pretty good last night. So we'll try to get better with it going forward.
Your ball movement offensively, specifically, off the break, off a rebound, off a defensive rebound, getting the ball down the floor. You beat Lorraine down the floor several times, and that's no easy task with the athleticism that they have. But, talk about Matt Hefke for a moment. He led your team in scoring last night. He had 20 plus. You mentioned that he was one of the semi-rotational guys on that 19-win team last year. And Byers, who's a sophomore this year, he was a starter as a ninth grader for you?
He was. Yeah, he started all the games last year, yes.
But that combination this year has given you a little life, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to start with Matt first. He's a senior. He was, as the year went on. So that being my first year here, I knew Matt. Just I was at Brunswick and our scouting reports and things like that. But as the year went on, Matt was really solidified in that 7th or 8th role last year, and then played really well toward the end. Actually, in the tournament last year where we fell to Canton McKinley, he actually got hurt when was playing really well in that game. Matt can put the ball in the basket. The one thing I'm most proud about Matt is that he's now learning to play with the other 4 guys on the floor. And you've seen such a growth. If you would have seen him in June, it was, hey, I'm going to go. And it wasn't a selfish thing. It was, he just didn't understand, again, being in a different role, an 8th man as opposed to a starter, that's a huge difference. And so he's moving the ball better. He's getting to spots. He's now drawing attention defensively and then allowing his teammates to get open looks. He has grown so much, and I'm so proud of the way he's done that, the way he rebounds. And again, we've told him he can shoot it, but we want him to get to the basket. You saw his first basket last night. He got downhill and scored. He did it against Westlake as well. So he can be a threat. Brandon, on the other hand, and we have to remember this, Ron, I told you this before the game, he's only a sophomore. We forget that. He's so mature for a 16-year-old kid. He started last year as a freshman. He had a different role last year. They had 3-4 really good scores. His job was defend and make open shots. He struggled a little bit this year shooting the ball, but he's a sophomore and he does so many things so well. He has the balls in his hands all the time. If you notice during the game, him and I are constantly communicating so he can communicate to the rest of the team. I'm just really proud of him. He hit a couple shots last night. You could see his confidence raise. He knocked a 3 down in the game. He gets to the basket, and he's a really good kid who comes from a really good family. He's the 4th of the Byers that have come through Strongsville. Actually, his dad, I went to high school with his dad, so I've known him, his dad, his mom for a really long time, and I love coaching him. As far as moving the ball, like I said, I was an assistant at Brunswick for 7 years under Coach Mackey, and that's how he plays. The ball moves, bodies move. We play with a really good pace, and that's what I've tried to bring here to Strongsville. And the kids are finally learning. You pass up for good shots, for great shots. And the one thing we've told our kids is be excited when you set your teammate up. And they're finally starting to see, you could see the bench reaction, the way they reacted on the floor. And that's what I was most proud of. So it was a really good night. A lot of things we preach, we were able to do last night, which was good.
one of the things that struck me, Coach, was you guys built a nice lead heading into that intermission. And for a team that hasn't won a conference game yet, you're on the road, young guys. What was the message? I mean, because you never took your foot off the gas in the second half.
Well, it's a great point. I will tell you, and one of the things I was most happy about was the way we started the third quarter. That was our message. We were up 20, and I said, guys, the first 3 minutes of the third quarter, it's either going to make or break. They get back in the game, it's a dogfight. If we come out and put our foot down, we'll win the game. And we did. I think we scored the first 6 or 7 points of the third quarter. We defended, we rebounded. Yeah. So again, we're learning. You know, when you don't, it's with anything. And I told the kids this. It's anything, even in life. Forget basketball. When you haven't done something before and you're put into a role, so you have to learn. And sometimes the learning's hard. But you have nights like last night where it starts to pay off. And I was most happy for them. These kids work really hard, and they're good kids. They are. They're good kids. They're great in the community. They're great in the classroom. They've got wonderful families. It's been a struggle. It's not fun to lose. You know, and Strongsville, all of our sports, we're really good. And so when you get off to a slow start and you're a 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, that wears on you. It wears on me. I'm 48, and it wears on me. So I was just really happy the way we played yesterday was I think the most exciting part of it. And like I told him after the game, like the wins will come. We got to stick with the process. The wins will come. Doesn't get any easier. We got to play Mentor now on Tuesday.
Right.
We have no chance to celebrate. We'll celebrate today, and we're right back at it tomorrow to play one of the best teams in the area. It doesn't let up, but I think our kids will give a great effort Tuesday night at home, and we'll see what happens.
Well, certainly all the luck in the world in that one, Ryan. It was great to catch up with you. Good to see you, and glad we were able to have that ball game last night. You guys look real impressive. Whatever you're doing routine-wise over break really worked out for you and your ball club last night.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Anytime. I appreciate seeing you guys last night, and anytime you need anything, let me know.
You got it. Good luck against Mentor on Tuesday. We'll catch up with you down the road. And
thanks, guys.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan Kilbane with the Strongsville Mustangs. And again, a guy that did some work with us. Again, we talked about it probably about 16, 17, 18 years ago, and knows the game, knows it well. And his guys were prepared last night.
He'd have been just in his 30s at that time, very early. So it was nice to see him last night.
I was about 23 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to just transition right on to head coach of the Elyria Catholic Panthers, Jason Smith. He joins us now, coming off of a very nice win over at Lake Catholic. As far as that goes, that's always a struggle, Coach. Lake Catholic, just when you think about the cachet that name has locally, anytime you play them in anything, it seems like it's a big matchup. You get the better of Lake Catholic last night, 53-47, with a pretty workmanlike effort.
Yeah, I mean, Lake Catholic is always solid. They got so many good athletes at that school. I mean, they just, won volleyball state championships. Their football team's always solid. Baseball is pretty good. Like, they're just solid all-around athletes. So to be able to come in, first road conference game for us, it wasn't pretty, but we got the job done. And at the end of the day, that's what matters.
And this is a busy week for you in terms of you get a game last night. No time to really relish in that one. You're in a nice event today over at Triway in a showcase where you guys are going to take on St. Thomas Aquinas. So there's no rest for you in your Panther Ball Club, but certainly better to go into that one off of a victory last night.
Yeah, and I appreciate you squeezing me in early because I got to get to the bus here in a little bit. So
it's our pleasure.
Triway's short trip.
I know, right? Yeah, it's a tough turnaround coming from being off New Year's Day to playing 2 back-to-back games here. But the guys responded well yesterday on a long bus ride. We got another long one today. I feel like we haven't played at home in about a month. We're getting road tested right now. And, St. Thomas is a completely different team than Lake Catholic. They're going to push the ball a little bit more, pick us up full court man. So it's going to be a little bit of a different test for us. But I feel really good about our chances tonight.
Jason, question about the road trips. Do you think that there's a benefit to the development of mental toughness? You said, last night you drive all the way out to Mentor to play Lake Catholic. Today you're going all the way down to the Worcester Triway area to, that's a long bus ride. And, these are 16, 17, 18-year-old young men. And they have to stay mentally strong through that to then, get off the bus, warm up a little bit, and play a good basketball game. Is that part of the process? I mean, do you think road tested really means something? I do.
On a winter break,
I'm wondering your thoughts.
Not to cut you off, Ron, but at a winter break, these are, again, high school kids, and you relish that winter break. You're on the last day of it, basically.
Yeah. I mean, listen, to me, developing a team is all about making them uncomfortable as much as possible. If you play too many home games against easy competition, if practices are too easy, even in the middle of the season, it just develops a comfort level. And we want to keep these guys as uncomfortable as possible throughout the season so that they can, start to develop that grittiness. So it doesn't matter where we play or how long the bus ride is. It's all business. The second that we step in that gym and we're getting ready to get on the bus, it's all business. So I think that's being developed right now. It's a great group of kids too, with great leadership. So they're setting the tone in the locker room and on the bus. There's no horsing around. There's no goofing around. It's silent. We get off the bus. We get in the locker room. It's they're focused and ready to go.
Jason, on the court, playing wise, are you where you hoped you would be on January 3rd, 2026, or are you still trying to get to that place, or how do you feel about where your team is right now?
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to be. I don't think any coach is going to honestly mean that they're exactly where we want to be. Now, there's
Right.
always improvement. So obviously, I'm happy with how we're playing. I'm extremely happy with our defense. So if there's any aspect of kind of where I was hoping we would be, it's there. I would hope we would have a couple more things in play that we could throw at teams. But for the most part, I'm extremely happy with our defensive intensity, our mentality, our rebounding. We rebounded the ball phenomenally, bounced back so well from Smithville, which we didn't do as great of a job rebounding. We absolutely owned offense and defensive rebounds against Lake Catholic, which is a huge deal. For me offensively, though, I would like to get a little bit more. I think our transition offense yesterday was excellent. That was the key part of our win offensively. We were able to get the ball and push it. But more in the half court, I'd like to see a little bit more movement from the team, a little more flow, try to open up some of the driving lanes for us and some kick out 3-pointers too. But that's something we work on every day, and we're getting a little bit better at. And it's just about not only knowing the offense and what we're trying to do, but trusting the teammates and knowing their habits so we can get into the paint like we want to.
Jason, you referenced the Smithville game a week ago today. Locally, a lot of our coaches, regardless of the conference, will tell you anytime you go to play a Wayne County team, you somehow get tougher, regardless of the experience. If it was good, if you guys won, or if you took it on the chin, you come out a tougher basketball team, ready to make adjustments in the next part of your schedule. Is that something that was done maybe by design, or what are your thoughts on that? That it's just a psychological toughness from playing in Wayne County.
It's different basketball. And
Okay.
I keep, I try to tell the guys this. We played Norwayne at the beginning of the season too. I try to let the guys know, like, this is a different style than what you're used to. They are, Smithville ran basically 5 guys the entire game, and they pressed and trapped and pushed the tempo. And you don't see that with a 5-man rotation. They threw a couple guys in for a couple minutes here and there, but they really just, a gritty team. They could shoot the ball extremely well. Every one of their guys knew the offense like the back of their hand. It was from a basketball junkie, it was a lot of fun to watch as a coach. But I thought our guys responded so well in that game. And with all the Wayne County, even playing Perkins and Bellevue too. A couple teams that play similar styles. Perkins being a really, really big team as well, height wise. Our guys responded well. We didn't win that game, but the Smithville game, I think when we played them, they were ranked 7th in the state. They were undefeated. Perkins, when we played them, they were undefeated. So we've got a really tough schedule to start here. And our guys are really battling. And, to come out 8-3 from this start of the season, we're really excited about that. And, now we jump into conference play next week. And we got some good competition coming up here with CVCA and Padua. So I'm really hoping that a lot of these, like we were talking about earlier, these road games and these Wayne County games are really building character for them.
Well, that's certainly something that, again, it seems like everybody has that theory in the coaching fraternity around Lorain County that you go there, you can have success, but you're going to learn a lot about your team no matter what. So
yeah, they're so well coached. They're so well coached down there. I mean, it's incredible. They just it's just a manufacturing of just really good teams that they produce.
Jason, before we let you go, the back-to-back, so to speak, for you, load management with those 16, 17, 18-year-olds, you probably got to, worry about whether they're healthy or not, correct? That's a joke.
Yeah. We're going to push them. They're fine.
You don't have any agents calling you today saying, hey, my guy doesn't get as many minutes today because he's tired from last night?
Yeah, we don't have any lower body injuries, that they have to put out on. But no, I mean, but it's one of those things. Like they got to learn how to, there's a difference between playing hurt and playing injured. Ben Essemacher last night took a knee to the thigh. I mean, he's not injured, but man, that hurts.
You're not planning on it, right? Exactly.
Jumped off the court, give him a few minutes, and he was back on. It's not going to cause any damage, but you got to play through it. And it's we got so many guys like that. Donnie Shumpert's another guy like that. I mean, you could just beat that guy down, to a pulp, and he still come charging at you. So, but that's what we talked about. That's the grittiness that we need. It's being able to play hurt and play through stuff and still come out on top.
Well, Coach, here's hoping you have good luck against St. Thomas today, and maybe not plan any back-to-back hour-long bus trips the rest of the way out, unless you get to the tournament and you're having real success there. Then it's okay.
Yeah, I'll take that. But
right.
my AD and I need to have a conversation about this because this one's tough. But it's built, like I said, it's good for us though, man. We're coming out on top. I'm happy about it.
Well, safe travels down there to Wayne or to Worcester area today, and all the luck in the world in your matchup against St. Thomas, Coach. Thanks for taking the time this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Jason.
Take care. Jason Smith with Elyria Catholic. And again, we'll call him the Road Warrior Panthers
Boy.
in the next couple of days because, again, he's going to make an hour-long bus ride again today. But that's a cool event, that whole showcase. So good luck to the Panthers.
They need a sponsor, like an energy drink sponsor for their basketball team right now.
Well, we could talk about that
Probably
with
work
Coach.
that out.
Maybe Jim Piazza has the same thought, Ron. I'll bet you he does.
I bet he does.
When he references athletic director, that's who he meant. So we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to catch up with our director of security, we think, in a moment. That's Tom Evans. He's out doing some wrestling work over at Columbia this morning, and he's got good things to say. We'll catch up with Tommy hopefully in just a minute on the other side of the break. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming live on WEOL.com and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today. Lorain
Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
And we welcome you back to the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar, along with Ron Yantz. Ron, back from a sabbatical throughout most of the month of December. Good to have you back here in 2026, Ron. And the calendar just turning over to 2026, and we're getting started here. Ron and I with the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, trying to do some shuffling here as we bring you along with this first hour. We're looking to catch up with our very own Tom Evans, who's
must be in the middle of like a double leg takedown
doing
right now,
some
or
Loco
something.
Mats work, and then also Marty Eggleston with Lorain County Community College. So it's sort of the fastest fingers right now.
Right,
Whoever
we're
gets in,
trying to get a hold of Coach Eggleston, see if he can come on early.
We're going to figure that out. And
Evans is getting a half Nelson. He's on his back right now, trying to fight off his back or something.
I'm wondering if maybe
he fell off the treadmill.
gets under. Yeah, maybe he heard you talk about that and said that's a lot of pressure, Ron. But what I'm thinking they probably did over at Columbia was recruit Tommy to tape down those mats. He's got a lot of experience doing that.
Or mop them.
That's a big event. Either way. But yeah, so maybe Tom working some overtime in terms of how that would present itself. So we'll effort Tommy, and then also trying to catch up with Marty from LCCC, and a little bit of background on Marty, Ron, if you could, just before we get him on.
Well, Coach Eggleston is the men's basketball coach at Lorain County Community College, and he's been there for a decade now. He's not only a coach, but he's a mentor to so many young people on the campus of Lorain County Community College. He works in student life. He makes a difference in the lives of a lot of young people on our campus. So it's more than just X's and O's and wind sprints and ball screens and rebounding at Lorain County Community College for Coach Eggleston. He is truly a difference maker, and he's in our box right now. And he's actually, we'll let Marty tell you exactly where he's at. Coach Eggleston.
He knew what to do.
Yeah. Welcome to the wrap-up show. And tell us, Marty, where you are right now as you're speaking to us.
Good morning, fellas. Thanks for having me. Can you hear me? First of all, let me make sure that's...
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So right now I'm on the team bus. A lot of these guys are back there snoozing. You'll see that. I'm actually on the bus, and we are on the road heading to Butler, Pennsylvania today for a game.
I called Marty last night, and he's from Pennsylvania. He's a Pennsylvania guy, and I said, Marty, you can join us. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, looking for the groundhog. And
we got about 6 weeks.
And he laughed, and Marty, you said, I'm actually going to be in Butler, PA, not far from the groundhog. Where are you going? You got a game today?
Yeah, so we play Butler this afternoon at 1:00.
Marty, how's the team this year?
So, we're a young team. From the win-loss column, we've kind of struggled a little bit, but we really rebuilt the team from scratch. I have a really good group of young guys, which is rare now for college teams to have a plethora of true freshmen, so to speak. So I'm excited about the future for these guys. We have an opportunity still to make the playoffs. If we can win our region and win our district, we still have a run at a national championship. A lot of people don't realize that.
And Marty, when you talk about your program, obviously there are people that are familiar with the campus itself, and they know so many things go on at LCCC. But when you talk about the hoop side of it, there's a chance to get a lot of great local kids that maybe aren't decided about what they're going to do quite yet, or maybe they want to just continue their playing career, and you offer an outlet kind of unlike any other for kids that haven't made that decision yet or still think they got some gas in the tank when they're done playing high school.
You're not lying. Let me tell you something. Lorain County Community College is a hidden jewel, and not just from the academic side. I mean, clearly we're one of the top junior colleges in the state of Ohio, and have proven ourselves even amongst schools nationally from an academic point, from a social equity perspective, and that's amazing. But in addition to that, we have college athletics, and like you said, it's a great opportunity for student athletes to continue their career. I have had some tremendous student athletes over my last 13 years who came in and thought maybe their basketball career was over, and now some of them have been able to play here and continue on to four-year schools. So I would love to fill the house with local talent. Coming up later at the end of this month, we're going to have a high school visitation day at one of our home games. So we'll stay tuned. We'll announce that. We'd love to have you come in and just check us out, take the tour, ask questions. I'm excited about the possibilities.
Marty, your genesis moment, so to speak, at Lorain County Community College, I think is an interesting story. Like you said, 13 years you've been there, but it was very organic. I'll let you pick up the story, but you come to campus, you're in the gym, right? Shooting baskets, you're just hanging out, and somebody walks in and says, you can't be in here right now, or something like that. And then that leads to, you pick up the story.
Yeah, well, like you said, it was very organic. I had just moved here to Ohio I had been in Ohio for maybe about 4 months, and I lived near campus and was just kind of driving around trying to catch the lay of the land, and realized that there was a college literally less than a mile from my house. And so came on campus, you know, just walked in off the street, started playing ball with some of the kids, the local players, and was going to, I went to the athletic office actually at that time, submitted my resume to volunteer for the team to kind of help them out. You know, I told them I know a little bit about basketball, so maybe I can help. And at that time, what I did not know was that the school was at that time looking for a new coach, and it was just a perfect storm. And I was able to apply and interview, and the rest is history.
Marty, I think your background is worth noting, and you just humbly said I know a little bit about basketball, and I was telling my partner Jared here that you were a legend in Poland, played professionally there, and you had texted me the backboard shattering moment in a professional game in Poland when you kind of set the country on fire, certainly with that. But give us the little bit of the tiny version of the Marty Eggleston basketball background. You can't tell because Marty's sitting down right now, but he is a 7'2" man, correct, Marty?
I don't know. I think you're exaggerating a little bit. I'm a little box right.
Okay, you're a big dude, though. I mean, Marty and I walk around and I say we're brothers, and he's real tall and I'm not. And but basketball's been your life, hasn't it, Coach?
It really has. It really has. Basketball has given me a wonderful existence. It's been a compass in my life, and so it's given me a purpose, and I enjoy that. And without the game, none of my children would exist. My grandchildren wouldn't exist. I mean, it literally became a path for me to follow. I started off as a regular high school kid from Coatesville, Pennsylvania. Didn't start playing basketball until late, as far as kids go. I was about 15 when I started playing basketball, but I was about 6'9" at the time, and was able to learn the game quickly under coaches. By the time I finished high school, I was a McDonald All-American, played in the Dapper Dan Roundball Classic that was organized by just some of the greats. And so all I can say is basketball's been amazing. I was able to, go to college, full scholarship, became an All-American, was expected to be drafted to the NBA. My senior year, they reduced the NBA draft, so I went undrafted. And then, just kind of followed the bouncing ball. Played in the CBA, which is now the G League. Had an opportunity with 4 different NBA teams, and just traveled the world. Was able to learn languages, culture, experience, North America, South America, about 14 different countries. So yeah, it's a long story. We'll have to talk about that another day.
Marty, what I get out of that, which is great, is you're well traveled and you've seen some things. Coming from Coatesville, you make a home in Lorain County. And this is a promote the program moment, and I think it's promote the institution moment. There's going to be kids that get out of school, they find themselves making that transition to college, and LCCC is their choice. It can be the destination. You don't have to necessarily go anywhere else with the partnership programs that are offered, with the options that you can find at LCCC. You may be able to call this home for as long as you want to call it home, not just you, but any young man or woman that comes there and seeks education. And if they can pursue athletics at the same time, you're kind of doing what you like and what you love, and you can pursue that. And maybe home is not very far from where you are right now.
Absolutely. I mean, let me tell you something. Everyone in my household holds a degree from Lorain County Community College. Every single person in my household. And so it's an amazing opportunity for people who just may not understand what the next steps are. I've been able to work not only as a coach, I'm the student engagement specialist on campus, worked as an academic advisor on campus, a student success coach. So even if the student is not an athlete or they maybe choose not to be an athlete, come see Coach Marty on campus and I can answer any questions that they may have about what next steps may be. But of course, I'm looking for ball players. And all of our sports. I mean, we have women's volleyball, we have women's softball, we have baseball, we have cross country. I mean, you name it, we have it. Women's basketball is really growing right now under the tutelage of Coach Brandon Lawler, and of course our men's basketball team. You name it, we got it, and we're a growing campus. I would love to be able to build our athletic program with a lot of the local talent.
Marty, let's piggyback on your mention of Coach Lawler. Brandon was a guard for you. He was a player for you. And you mentioned student success and helping young people navigate life. I mean, I think Brandon benefited greatly from your leadership, your mentorship at a time in his life when he was a very young man and needed something like that. And I think he's a great story of what Lorain County Community College can do for a young person trying to find their path in life. So give us a little background on, Brandon and the storyline, the journey that he had, through you and through our basketball program, all the way, to a Division I college and lots of great work in the community.
Well, I will tell you humbly that I'm so happy to have been wrong about Brandon Lawler. The first time I met Brandon, he and I laugh about this story all the time, but Coach B was one of the first kids that I had seen that I thought I would cut from the team. He came in, he was young, he was raw, he was nervous, and his first day at tryouts was not the best. But I don't know what happened. I didn't know until later when he told me about how prayer changed things for him. But overnight, literally the next day, he became just an amazingly different player. And I'm saying to myself, oh, maybe I can work with this guy and we'll figure something out. Now, here we are 13 years later. It's just been amazing. He's been an amazing leader. He's been a leader nationally on the basketball court, a great student, was able to then go to Holy Cross and be successful at Holy Cross and play on the national stage there. And then after he finished at Holy Cross, was able to come back, and he was the assistant coach for our men's team for a handful of years. And quite honestly, he's just an amazing young man, father, husband, minister. He does it all, and honestly, I can see the future in him. I believe he may be the next iteration of Lorain County basketball. I mean, this guy really speaks the language of these young people. I love him. I'm so proud of that guy. And so he's really growing the women's program now. He was able to transition from the assistant coach of the men's team and now to be the women's head coach, and has really been able to level the team up. And so it's just been a joy to watch, and it's been amazing for me as a spectator to see growth.
Yep.
Now, that's a terrific story, and Brandon's been on this program before. I think when he got the job, he spoke with Ron and I, so it's good to just, kind of catch up on that and, get an update as to how things are going. Coach, thanks for taking time this morning to hook up with us, and we want to wish you safe travels and good luck over there in Butler today, and bring home a win, and if not, at least have a safe journey and a productive trip back and forth today. And classes are going to start up quicker than anybody knows. Well, maybe not more than coming back just this week from a break.
Oh yeah, we're excited, and Lorain County Community College, quite frankly, is the place to be. So again, like I said, to any students watching, parents watching, listening, even if your student is not an athlete or maybe on the bubble as to whether or not they want to continue their athletic career, they can come see me. I'm on campus. I'm in the Office of Student Life. I've been there long enough to, if I don't know it, I know where to find it. So come and we'll make it happen.
That sounds great. Marty Eggleston with Lorain County Community College as far as the administrative aspect and also the men's basketball aspect. We're going to let you focus on men's basketball this afternoon, Coach. Go out there, you and the guys get it done.
That's our goal, trying to get a win.
Thanks, Marty.
Good to hook up with you this morning. Take care. Safe travels.
Thank you, guys. Be safe. Take care.
You too. Boy, good catching up with him this morning, Ron. We're going to take a quick break on the other side of our timeout. We'll bring it back to local hoops, but of the Medina County variety. Great matchup in Medina last night. Brunswick going to overtime, and they get Medina. They get the Battling Bees by 1, 58-57. Joe Mackey of the Brunswick Blue Devils will join us on the other side of the break. We'll get his thoughts. Stick around. It's the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, and we are streaming live at WEOL.com and online at the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And welcome back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. Joining us now in the program is the victorious head coach of the Brunswick Blue Devils, Joe Mackey. Joe, good morning. First of all, thanks for taking the phone call this morning. Kind of unorthodox as far as reaching out to you at the hour in which we did, so we apologize. But it's good to catch up with you. I know you've been on the program before over the years, but last night stuck out as pretty special to us with a 1-point win over Medina in overtime. Tell us about that when it seemed like it was close all game long. I think you were tied at 18 after one, really close at the intermission, and you go to OT to win it.
Yeah, it was a special night. Anytime you play a rival, sold-out crowd at home. Our point guard broke the school scoring record. Back and forth affair, two good programs going at each other, and we just happened to make a couple more plays down the stretch and came out on top. But it was one of those games, could have went either way. They actually outplayed us most of the game. We just, same thing happened to us at Hoban too. We just find a way in the fourth quarter. We got some good leaders on our team that made some plays for us.
And you mentioned a team you know so well, and we're very familiar with the Battling Bees. Chris does a great job, Chris Hattinger, over with Medina. So is that a sense where, you play a crosstown rival in a big game on a holiday week, where it's not your normal schedule, I think, but not that to presume how you run things when your kids are on break, but that's just got to be a good atmosphere, I think, when you're getting ready to come back to school next week to play a team like Medina and test yourself in conference right before the end of break.
Yeah, I mean, the rivalry, like I said, is over the years. It's amazing how the communities come out and support both teams, and I think it's kind of taken a twist over the years, just in style of play. Chris has kind of gone a little bit more set oriented, likes to control the pace of the game, and has had some success with it with his guys. And we're just the opposite. We're trying to score 70, 80 points, and we're more concept oriented. Let's get down the floor and play to our strengths. And so you got the rivalry in general, and then you got the different contrasts in how our teams play. It made for a really good night for Medina County.
Joe, first of all, good to hear and see you again.
Yeah, good to see you.
Joe, just to give a little bit of a quick background, I've known Joe since he was a teenage boy playing high school basketball. And now I asked him this morning on the phone when we called, how old are you now, Joe? And he said 54. And I can't believe that. It's been a while. But, to anybody that doesn't know, I mean, Joe, how many high school wins do you have, as a coach? Do you know how many hundreds of wins you have? A couple hundred, 400?
Yeah, I think I'm really bad at that. I've always said it. Now that I'm getting a little closer to retirement, I know how many years I've actually taught and coached. I never knew that, like when I was at 21 years or something like that. But yeah, they celebrated, I think, a couple years back. I'm definitely at 4. If you told me where I'm at right now, I would have no idea. but I just still feel the same. I'm very appreciative of the school district. I got very lucky to land a job here in Brunswick. It's where I live now. It's where my family, built my family in Brunswick. It's a great school district. It's got great leaders, and I've just been real happy. And I'm still really hungry. So we'll see how the retirement goes. A couple years down the road, I'll get out of the classroom, but I still feel like I want to coach for a little bit longer.
So, just to pull it back a little bit, I think most people know Joe Mackey as a guy who has over 400 high school wins as a high school boys basketball coach. But, a long time ago, the now 54-year-old man that we have on our show today was one of the best high school basketball players in Greater Cleveland. And his dad ran a business in Parma Heights called the Omni Fitness Center. And a lot of folks don't know because the NBA's changed a lot. But back in that time, the late 80s, NBA teams came in to play the Cavaliers at the Coliseum in Richfield. And oftentimes they would work out at the Omni in your dad's facility. And I did a Larry Bird story there when the Celtics worked out there during the Casey Jones era. And Joe, you got a front row seat to a lot of great players. Did you learn anything when you would, skip out of school early and go watch NBA teams work out at your dad's facility?
Yeah, I skipped out an awful lot during those days. So yeah, you're right. With Larry Bird and the Celtics, McHale, Ainge, all those guys. Michael Jordan was there, Barkley. It was just, it was a neat experience, really for our entire family, just to have them come to my dad's club and get to meet those guys and be around them and see how they prepare for games and everything like that. But it was obviously they went away from that when they went downtown. They started using other facilities, but it was a really special time. I was playing in high school and then got to go see the pros and then oftentimes get to go to the games. A lot of those guys would leave tickets for us because my dad did a nice job of hosting them and everything. So yeah, it was a really fun time for the Mackey family for sure.
Joe, last night we did the Strongsville-Lorain game, the boys game, and Ryan Kilbane, who was a longtime assistant for you, now the head coach at Strongsville, and we had him on at the beginning of today's wrap-up show, and he mentioned a lot, actually several times, Jared, during the interview, the things that he learned from you and the way that he runs his program at Strongsville. And I said on the air last night, when we were talking about Strongsville and we were talking about your matchup with Medina, you are a Strongsville Mustang, correct?
Yeah. Yep, I was.
Yeah.
When I had the mullet.
Yeah.
In the 90s. Yep.
Yeah. You and I, well, you still have your hair. I had a lot more back then, but that was a great time for you as a Strongsville Mustang. You played on a really good team and you Tucker Neal was on your team at Strongsville.
Yep. And still close with Tucker today.
Okay, good. And your coach, I was trying to remember at Strongsville at that time.
Bob Casey.
Bob Casey. Yeah.
Bob Casey. Yeah, he still reaches out when we win big games. He'll always text. Special guy. It was a special time for our program back then at Strongsville. Yeah, we were 20-0 my senior year and kind of captured that whole community. It was a lot of good memories there.
Well, and I got to think that those texts happen pretty frequently because you're winning big games quite a bit over at Brunswick over the past, 2 decades really that we followed you. And again, this goes back to, when we first started expanding coverage into Medina County and just knew that it could be that exciting. One of the things that I've always thought about your teams going over the years, Joe, is whether it be a conference game or a tournament game, you mentioned it kind of earlier when you talked about having success against Hoban or Medina last night. You find ways to do it in the end. What is that like to have that reputation of when the chips might be down a little bit, the guys are going to rally around and figure it out? I've done games with Tim over the years. We've seen you lock up with Ignatius and you might be down 7 in the fourth quarter, but you're never out of it. Nobody ever really considers that. It's just not an option.
Yeah, it's culture, right? Like we schedule tough. We're in big games all the time. We practice game-like situations all the time, weekly. So, obviously every team would like to be up 6 or 7 in the fourth quarter. It's easy, but and so far this year we've been we've been down. Like I said, you're right. At Hoban, we were just down the entire game, and then the fourth quarter, I think we outscored them 21-5 or something like that. Last night, we were down 9 in late in the third, and by the time the third quarter ended, it was a 1-point game. I think that was the whole difference in the game. Like our kids, like we only have about 5 guys right now in the rotation. It sounds fun. Our 6th man broke his wrist. He's going to come back. We got another kid we're playing sparingly, but we're just not really deep. And for our guys to be able to dig down deep, Medina was playing probably 8 to 9 guys to our 5. But our kids just, like you said, they keep battling, they find ways. But it's been a little bit more of a challenge. Like we got St. V tomorrow, and we got to come in and watch film, but we're not even going to take the floor just because we got to rest our legs for tomorrow.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's tremendous. So you're playing a Sunday game before you head back into the classroom.
Yeah.
So
it's a showcase game, and we don't pass up many of those. If teams want us in their showcases and we can showcase our kids, we usually take advantage of that.
Joe, I'd imagine you got to be pretty proud of the program that you've built at Brunswick.
Yeah, no, I am, and I'm grateful, to be honest with you. Like the people I've worked for, my athletic directors, principals, my superintendents, it's just a really, and I mean this wholeheartedly, it's a really special place. And I thank God daily for that. Like I'm in a really good spot. And yes, I could have went elsewhere and coached there and maybe went over and tried to go over to a college or something like that. But I've really felt at home here. And our program, it's a family. It's a second family for me. And we start these kids in first grade. Yesterday when Trey broke the record, he's out there taking pictures with our travel basketball kids, and it's just kind of like how we've done things. We don't go out and recruit other high schools players, and we just try to do things the right way here. And it's like I said, it's been a great journey for me. I know it's probably coming to an end here. Not sure when, but yeah, no regrets. It's been a special place.
Well, it's great to catch up with you this morning, Joe. I can promise you we'll have you on again at some point down the road this season. I can also promise you the only person that's going to call you at 10 after 8 from WEOL is Ron Yance. Rob and I won't. We'll text you.
Yeah, I got a lot of respect. I got a lot of respect for Ron. He can call me whenever he wants.
That's why I said he's the only one that's going to call. You won't be us.
Joe, it was such a fun time to spend with you just now. And like I said, it's been a long time since Joe Mackey and I've talked, and he's still the young man that I remember. It's great to talk to you, and just congratulations on all your success.
I appreciate it, guys. Happy New Year to you.
You too.
To you too. Good luck tomorrow,
right, take
Joe.
care. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That's
right.
Joe Mackey with Brunswick, and the storied coach of the Brunswick Blue Devils in that program. You mentioned, Ron, we were talking about him. You said, wow, he's 54 years old. I said, he's got 400 plus wins. You tell me he's 54? That guy's got to be 64.
He'll always be young Joe Mackey to me. I mean, just, that's the memory I have. And like he said, that haircut that he had, and just an outstanding young man who's I guess no longer a young man.
It is certainly the who's who of Northern Ohio basketball over the years. We're going to take a time out. On the other side, we'll get you some scores, a recap of what happened last night, and we'll catch up with Paul Apple, women's head coach over at Avon Lake, and they had a very special holiday season. We'll talk to Paul, get his thoughts on that on the other side of the break. Stick around. It is the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar and Ron Yance streaming online at WEOL.com, and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. We've helped thousands of people just like you match skills and experience with a career. We can help you train for a career that is in demand right now. You can even work in your field while taking classes. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
Lorain Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
Hi, Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cavs. For several years, you've heard me talk about EcoTree Services on WEOL. Recently, I needed trees removed, so of course, I contacted EcoTree. They did an incredible job. The folks at EcoTree were timely, efficient, and the work was flawless. Take it from me. When your trees need attention or even require removal, contact EcoTree Services. Like me, you'll love their work. Find EcoTree Services online at ecotreeservices.com.
At Nick Abraham Elyria Ford, we make it that easy.
This month, get 0% on all 2025 Ford F-150s, including Lightning, regular cabs, super cabs, and Super Duties, plus all Explorers and Escapes.
Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
And we welcome you back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, hour number 2, getting underway. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yantz. Ron, last night, we had high school hoops on WEOL.com and the CT YouTube channel. It was Strongsville getting the better of Lorain, 82-55 in GCC play. And we caught up with Ryan Kilbane in hour number 1 to recap that win. We also just talked to Joe Mackey of Brunswick. He and his Blue Devils in GCC play got a win over Medina last night in overtime, as he referenced, 58-57. In the SBC, it was Margaretta knocking off Vermilion. You mentioned that in hour number 1, Ron, when we talked about that score. Big-time D1 recruit going to Dayton for Margaretta. They silenced the Sailors last night, 78-48.
Elyria Catholic in the North Coast League traveled all the way out to Mentor and knocked off Lake Catholic 53-47. They're traveling all the way down to Worcester as we speak to take in the Triway Classic. So good luck to the Panthers. We had their head basketball coach on in that first hour. Firelands takes a tough loss last night at home. They lost to Twinsburg by a bucket, 55-53. And then on the college court, the Ohio State Buckeyes off to a good start this basketball season. The men's team, 80-73, a win over Rutgers. And on the NBA,
it was the Cavaliers in the association, now winners of 3 in a row, following that Christmas Day loss to the Knicks by just a bucket. But the Cavs, a 113-108 winner against Denver last night. Denver without the services of Nikola Jokic. So that's a look around at scores from last night, both locally, high school, and collegiately in the NBA. We're going to take a timeout. No, we're not going to take a timeout. We're going to add Paul Apple here with the Avon Lake Shore Gals Ball Club. And Paul, we tried to connect with you last week. Didn't work out quite like we had hoped. You were in the middle of getting a ride somewhere. You and your team were in sunny Florida. Hopefully it was sunny. We didn't really check the weather forecast. We just knew it was cold and snowy here. But welcome home. Seems that the sun did you well.
Yeah, we had a good time down there. It was really 75, 80s for a couple days. Then we were down in the 50s. So cold down there, but still a lot better than the snow that we came back to here. So it was a good trip for all of us.
Unique format. When Rob and I were trying to hook up with you last week, you went down there and played 3 games. Sometimes that you get a back-to-back or a tournament style, but 3 games that makes it worth the trip, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, the trip is first class all around. Every day we play a game. We went to one of the different Disney parks. So, we went 1-2, won our first game, and then lost the next 2 to a really good team from Georgia, who I think was in the Final Four last year, and then a team from Washington State that actually was in the state championship last year. So played really great competition, and the girls really just enjoyed themselves and had a lot of fun and grew closer.
Paul, since you took the leadership role of that Shoregal basketball program in Avon Lake, I think there are 2 things that have been a Paul Apple signature, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. One is defense, and then the second thing is scheduling tough opponents, building the regular season to prepare you for postseason play. You did that right out of the rip. I mean, if you look up and down an Avon Lake Shoregal schedule, you'll see, some really good Division I basketball teams that you play. You just mentioned the 2 teams from Georgia and Washington State. You mentioned that they were in the state finals. Well, so was your team last year, that great tournament run that we were down there. That we got a chance to, have that courtside seat for. Paul, this year's team's a little bit different, isn't it? I mean, no, you're still defensive special minded, but you lost some players last year. I mean, you lost a point guard who was, actually two perimeter guards who were outstanding. And then you had an offseason injury to one of your starters that, has finished her season. So tell us about this year's team and how it's a little bit different, but the results seem to be the same.
Right. I think in the past, I think our third staple would be that we usually had 5, 6, 7 different players who could lead us in scoring on any given night. And this year we've become, Molly Milligan and Olivia Miller are our leading scorers and have probably been our leading scorer in just about every game. So we're playing through those two a little bit more. The defensive mindset has stayed the same. And, we missed the guards in Izzy and Olivia, and Bree was a phenomenal player for us as well. But Evelyn Ritt has really stepped up and manned the point guard position. And, she was a key part of everything we did last year and really just growing in her role. And then, like you said, a big injury to Alyssa Jones, who we miss her, but it's given opportunities to some other younger players. In our last game here in Ohio, we were able to beat Magnificat, and Frankie Persia had a couple big baskets late, and Rachel Besaw probably had her best high school game as a junior. So we are playing about 9 kids right now, and we've had every one of the 9 kids has finished a game for us. So we're led by Olivia, Evelyn, and Molly, but those other 6 have all had key moments for us and been instrumental in a lot of our wins.
Paul, Olivia obviously was a known quantity, not only last year, but maybe even the year before that. But I really thought that Ritt and Milligan, during that postseason run last year, kind of started to put themselves in front of people and started to build their confidence in key moments because of what you and your staff do. You rotate a lot of players, and there are players that are in there in key moments. And Molly and Evelyn have really developed, haven't they?
They have. I mean, Evelyn she's kind of gone through all different roles. As a freshman, she was probably the best player on the JV team, and then as a sophomore, she was playing limited minutes on a good team, and then still played a little bit of JV just to try to keep playing. And then just as a junior, she just did everything for us. Whatever her job was, she did it to the best of her abilities. And now she's come full circle and had to be one of the best guards. And, I think she was just happened to be a year behind 2 really good guards. Otherwise, she would have been, playing even more for us last year and had all that notoriety. She's been phenomenal all year. She's guarded other teams' best perimeter player and just had a really good year. And then Molly's another player who, she was our one less known quantity of our 5 starters last year. But, when she got the ball inside, she was really efficient. She really played well off other players, and she expanded her game as a junior. She's able to shoot the ball well from outside. She's efficient scoring inside. And then, we're asking her to guard some really good players, and she's stepping up to the challenge there.
Obviously we want to talk about Florida last week when we were trying to hook up with you, Paul, during that show last week. But one of the things that Rob and I were certainly focused on was, rewind us back now to, I think it was 12 days ago, that Magnificat game you referenced. That's a buzzer beater, 47-45 in a game that's really circled, I think, on the calendar each year. When Ron mentioned, the teams that you have a tendency to play tough and have a rivalry with, that's becoming something that's a non-conference rivalry that people can get used to every year now.
Yeah, we've like Ron said, we always try to play very good teams, and I connected with Danny last year, and we decided to play the game right. I think it was the 23rd last year and this year. Last year we win by 1, this year we win by 2, and it's just all the girls know each other, and it's a lot of respect for their program and everything they do. But it's just a fun, competitive night, and our girls really look forward to the opportunity to play girls that they grew up playing against, and know well, and take on a good opponent. And I think they're a little bigger school than us, so we always take some pride in trying to find a way to win that game. And we played really well for a long stretch of the game, and I think we were up 6, 8, 10 points for a good amount of the game, and they had a great comeback and were able to take the lead and, able to have Molly Milligan fouled out with probably 3 or 4 minutes left. And again, our depth kind of helped us persevere. And I think Frankie Persia scored our last 4 points of the game, and those were her first 4 points. So it's credit to her and her teammates for staying ready and doing the right things.
Paul, take us in the gym for a moment. Practice, defensive practice. What is defensive practice like at a Shore Gal practice? Because it is your signature. It is you mentioned, balanced scoring and ball movement, and that's for certain. But I think more than anything, you hang your hat on the ability to shut people down. And you certainly given Olmsted Falls all that they've wanted and more over the years. You snapped their Southwestern Conference win streak at like 35 games or something ridiculous with defense. And, what's it like at practice defensively? What types of things are you doing to instill a competitive spirit in that team that then translates onto game night?
Yeah, I think what you said at the end there, the competitive spirit, the mindset of our players is, we want to be in help, but we don't want to need help. So we want every player with the mindset that they can guard the girl in front of them. And we write, when you play really good teams, they have 5 different players that can score on the floor. So often written on our pregame board is own your matchup. So our girls just do a great job of owning their matchup and forcing teams into difficult shots. And we really emphasize that. We do a lot of one-on-one at practice. We work on defending as a team when it's needed. But it's also trusting when our other players are in good defensive spots that we don't need to go help and give somebody else an open look. We take a lot of time to prepare and scout. And our girls have really bought into our defensive plan, and it it sometimes feels complicated. It's really simple. We can switch things on the fly if other players are playing better than expected for them, and the girls just really pick it up and buy into it. And they're like in the past we've said, it is not we emphasize and focus on defense, but we couldn't be a good defensive team without a bunch of really good defensive players, good athletes, and players that are committed and tough. And I think our toughness and physicality stands through.
And Paul, we've asked other coaches this. Our first chance to talk to you this winter sports season. You're back from Florida. The calendar's turned to 2026. What are some of the goals that now you focus on after the trip, and now the first 10 games ish are over with your schedule? What do you look ahead? You've got, like you said, roughly 11 games left now. And you think to yourself, where are we at now? Where do we want to be at the end of February?
Right. We just, we don't often, people ask me this off season, hey, you guys went to the state championship last year. Like, what are you going to do this year? All that. We never wrote on any board or anything. Our goal was to go to the state championship, to win it. Our goal was to get better every day, and we want to continue to get better. And that is as an individual. So every player, we want them to keep improving. And then as a team, we want to keep growing and understanding each other, and, not have to recoach things that we previously coached, so we can keep building and adding as we prepare for the tournament. And, we just take it game by game, and we're just trying to get better practice at every practice and then into the next game. And it doesn't really matter who the opponent is. As long as we're growing, we feel confident that come the end of the season, we'll put ourselves in a good position to make a run.
Paul, just a couple of minutes left with you, and I want to make sure that we get maybe the most important question in for this 10-minute interview with you. And if you had to characterize the athletic level or skill of your assistant coach, Mike Rush, on a 1 to 10, what would it be? Would it be a 10, or would it be closer to a 2?
Yeah, I think the rumor is it would be closer to a 2. But
lost a step in fatherhood. That's what Rush, right up to the point where he had kids, he was still there.
Yeah, sometimes we have to do a little scout, and we've had a couple kids get injured, so I have to step in and play. Our other coach, Coach Dar, steps in and play. Coach Rush is not chomping at the bit to get any reps on the scout team. So, maybe if he brings his shoes tomorrow, we can update the rush scale and add him up to an 8 or 9 on it.
Lateral movement difficult for Mike these days. That's part of the problem. He can backpedal. He can backpedal real well. The defensive back in Mike Rush says he can backpedal, but that lateral movement is going to be tough for him.
We'll text Mike right when we get off and tell him make sure he brings his shoes tomorrow to practice.
Yeah, he better. So Mike does a great job for us. He really, he joined our staff last year, and he's been a great addition. So we're lucky to have him.
Yeah, we feel the same way when he works with us in the fall and also when he has some time in the spring as well. So that's always good to catch up with you and get your thoughts on our colleagues. See, we can kind of compare notes. Maybe we should have, an off-campus meeting one day and explain, the strengths and weaknesses of Mike Rush. We just scratched the surface today, Paul, and we'll be happy to compare notes with you as the season rolls along.
Yeah, of course.
Paul, good luck this year.
Awesome. I appreciate it as always, guys.
And we appreciate the time. We've got a couple of year matchups coming up in 2026. Looking forward to some Shore Gals basketball. That's Paul Apple with the Avon Lake Shore Gals, back from sunny Florida and ready to get to work in 2026. And he joined us this morning. It was always good to catch up with Paul. We're going to switch gears right now and head on directly over to Mike Fitch with the Avon Eagles boys program. He's in action tonight again on WEOL.com in a non-conference affair over at Brookside. This one's becoming an annual ritual, Coach. You and Larry Babbitt's doing battle in a non-conference game, neighboring communities that, really I think rise to the occasion. It's good for the communities and it's good for the challenge for both programs.
Mike, can you hear us?
I can't hear you if you're talking to me.
Okay,
the audio
you can't hear us.
The audio kicked out here. I'm going to take you off and put you back on. We'll see if that has anything to do with it. And Mike, join us back in. Redial when you can. So, but as I was saying, Ron, that's become something of a yearly routine now.
Well, two good programs, committed coaches. Certainly it's going to be a game to watch and listen to tonight. There's
and
Mike
they're right
again.
next door to each other, and they do a good job. Mike, do we have you now?
Yes, now I can hear you. Sorry.
Sounds great. We'll say it was on our end, even though I know it was on yours. We'll just pretend that it was our fault. Thanks for taking some time to join us. Ron and I were just talking about, that this has become a yearly tradition now in a non-conference game. You going over there, them coming to you. Today, you're on the road over at Brookside, but your fans are certainly going to travel well right down the 611-500.
Yeah, we really look forward to this game every year. I love a Lorraine County matchup. Obviously, when I played, that was part of our conference. And they're always a really good winning team that brings a lot of energy and a lot of skill and talent. So we're really looking forward to tonight.
And Larry, I know, and he'll tell us when he joins the program following your interview today that they look forward to this too. This is a big one for them. They're able to test themselves against an SWC opponent. They played Ridgeville early this year. They had a great 3 quarters against Ridgeville. It was their first game. They sort of, I wouldn't say ran out of steam, but Ridgeville's a talented ball club in their own right, and it got away from them late in the game in the fourth quarter. But I think it's a different Brookside team that you'll see now than when we saw them the first week of December.
Yeah, they're very skilled and talented. They're going to be up and down in you, putting pressure on you, trying to cause chaos and cause turnovers. And then obviously everyone on their roster can shoot it from anywhere. So obviously a scouting report that you have to know, and guys have to know their guys and what they can do. And they're not going to quit. That's what we put on our scouting report. They're a team that does not quit, and they're hard-nosed kids.
This will be our first look at your ball club this year, Mike. And, it was a little different, I think. Well, not a little different. You're used to the start never being quite on schedule with where you want it to. We talked to you last week, and you said, we think that's behind us now. We're right where we want to be. Everybody's recovered, and this is the way the Avon basketball is going to look. From what I've heard from people around our building and, other media outlets and reporters and photographers, they said that your depth and athleticism is as good or better than it's ever been. Tell us about that, if that's accurate, and how much better can it get?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of our scouting report. Anything we go against is trying to get to other teams' bench because we feel like our depth doesn't drop off much. Obviously, we have leading scorers and leading rebounders, but we can bring in guys that fit their role perfectly and fit in great. we can play up to 10 guys. We played 11 guys against Ridgeville the other night. So that's a big part of us. And then we want to capitalize anytime we can use our length. We're very long, we're athletic. So we're trying to do some things defensively that I think we haven't been able to do in the past just because of our length.
When you mentioned length, that was where my thought went. How does that play into defense, and how have you tried to take advantage of it?
Well, you can get away with a lot more stuff when you're long, as in, your feet don't have to be as quick staying in front of guys when you're long. So you can affect a lot of shots. We have a couple shot blockers and shot changers in the middle of the paint that have the ability to just go outside too and guard someone outside. So it's a lot easier us to switch a lot of things that we haven't done in the past because other guys couldn't stay in front of guys. But we have our bigs that can use their length to stay in front of guards, or if they get beat, they can use that to try to block shots or affect shots. So that definitely changes the game, and it gives your ability to switch a lot of stuff and have guys guard different guys.
Mike, if you as a coach have 10 or 11 in your rotation, and we just had Joe Mackey on just before you from Brunswick, and he said he's really down to 5 guys in his rotation right now because his 6th player off the bench is injured, and there's maybe one other kid, he said, on the team that he's giving minutes to. But you've got 10 or 11, and you're facing, Larry's team tonight who, likes to move the ball. Like you said, if they can throw up 100 shots in a game, they're going to try to do it, whether or not they're able to do that or not. So having depth will help, I would think, against Brookside.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we want to get the other team's benches because we think we're deeper. We can run in fresh guys. I look at being able to bring in fresh guys is huge. Guys miss a lot of shots down the stretch, or you don't, capitalize in those fourth quarter because they're tired and exhausted. And I think we have that ability that guys can be fresh anytime they're on the floor. We tell those other guys to give us 2-3 minutes of everything you got in the tank, and then when you have another chance, empty the tank as well.
Mike, I think a lot of teams that prepare for Brookside would think to themselves, okay, they're going to put up a lot of shots. Whatever happens in that regard, but they're going to be gassed on the other side. Larry's never really let that happen. His guys can shoot until their heart's content, but the counter action there is you got to get back on D, and you got to play D, and if you don't, Larry's going to run in 4 new bodies, 5 new bodies, whatever he's got to do. How do you prepare for that when the philosophy there is usually, well, our guys are going to get gassed at some point, especially a school that size? That's not the case with him. It never has been since he's taken the reins there.
Yeah, I mean, that's when we go into our physicality. We're going to bring that to the game. So if we're more physical and they can't get downhill and they're getting knocked coming off screens and, a guy right in their face, that's what we're going to take advantage of. So we definitely want to use our physicality to our advantage, our weight room to the advantage, rather than just athleticism. And obviously that length helps. It helps in the gaps. It helps in the paint. But we'll keep running new guys in. And honestly, we're going to try to push it a lot. We feel like we can push a little bit them offensively because they like to trap front. But I think Larry, I don't know. He's a great coach, and he always has a good game plan coming against us. We had a really good battle in the second quarter last year. I think it was 22-18. They came back when we were up 10-0 because they don't quit. And then we were able to, spread the lead out a little bit. But they're definitely going to bring it. But I think physicality is a big part on our end.
Your holiday situation maybe a little bit different than other teams. You seem pretty busy. I mean, you had a lot of games over the between Christmas and New Year's. That's something that you think is good for routine, or is it something that you would have liked those spread out maybe once a week versus I think you played 2 in about a 5-day span?
No, I honestly like playing games,
Okay.
especially winter break. We have 5 road games in a row here. This is our second. It was nice to get some home games. We actually, playing Westlake, they brought a big crowd. We had a big crowd. And then obviously we had that makeup game against Ridgeville, and that's always going to be a big crowd. So it kind of stinks sometimes, like when you're at home and there's not many people there. But we didn't have that over this holiday. So I do like playing. I like the kids getting up. We had a good shoot around this morning and watched some film and had a scouting report. So I think they're used to the routine. But we are, as a teacher, I don't want to go back to school, but it is nice to have that. I have that little routine for the kids because some guys are sleeping until noon. Yesterday was a little rough, probably our worst practice of the year, but trying to get them over that. They're kids, but I do like playing games.
Mike, I think it's 100% accurate to say that players feed off the energy in a gymnasium when you talk about playing in a game in front of a big crowd. What about coaches? Do you feed off that energy too, Mike, or are you so locked in, tunnel focused that you don't even notice it?
You know what? I would like to say I'm locked in, and sometimes when there's not as many people, I stay a little more calm. I've never had an issue with bringing energy or being ready to go. But I do think it's our bench. I think, the coaches feed off of it in practice. We expect kids to bring it, the energy as well. I don't care if it's 8 a.m. practice or, a 10 a.m. practice. But I think I'm always ready to go. But I think it's our bench that it gets affected. If our bench isn't into it, we always say, you're in the game while you're not in the game. So I think that's the biggest thing, that when people aren't in the crowd, that's hard.
Well, I think you're going to have a great crowd tonight. I think there's going to be plenty of energy in that Cardinal Gymnasium. We're looking forward to seeing your ball club tonight. Mike, thanks for taking some time this morning, hanging out with us. Appreciate it, and good luck this evening. We'll see you over there.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me on, and obviously Happy New Year. See you tonight.
Happy New Year,
Mike.
to you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Good luck tonight.
Thanks.
We'll talk to you later. Well, let's waste no time here. Let's transition right over to Larry Babbix, who gets his rebuttal now, as he was on deck for most of that interview with Mike Fitch. And Larry,
Jared,
first of all,
I can't hear you guys.
You can't hear us? All right, Larry, what we're going to do, you're going to dial back in, okay?
He can't hear us.
We're just going to dump it. But I think you can see. We're going to break it. You're going to dial back. Thanks, buddy. All right, so the same thing that happened.
Good for you.
Yeah, see? Larry and I get each other. So we'll see what happens. I think Coach is going to figure this out. Maybe it was the same thing that
Pat
happened.
Brazing, cute. Pat, can you hear us? Give us a thumbs up.
Well,
Yeah,
Pat's
Pat can
got
hear
us.
us. Okay.
But maybe it's the same situation that happened with Mike there, because once we connected with him, it worked out just fine. So Larry has re-entered, and let's see if we can get Larry now.
I can hear you guys.
All right, we got Coach Babbix now. Larry, thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. I'll have to apologize to Mike, because I told him I thought it was on his end, not ours, but apparently you had the same problem. So
Can you click on video,
We'll
Larry?
take the blame for that.
Your camera?
Yeah, hold on 1 second, guys. I'm sorry.
Ron's making you do that, Larry, not me. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good.
So, well, first
All right,
of all,
Rich.
thanks for joining us this morning. As we asked Mike, we said, hey, it is a big deal when these two communities get together. You guys have put on quality basketball performances in recent memory, and that's about as close as a crosstown rivalry when you think about Route 611 as you can get.
Yeah, no, it's a big game. Honestly, we gotta carry our weight, because Avon's just kicked the crap out of us the last 3 years. I think it's been an average of, close to 40 points. They put a running clock on us. I know Mike was being pretty nice in his interview and stuff, but facts are facts. They're really, really good. They're our hardest opponent every year, just with their size. And like Mike said, they're just super physical. They're tremendously really, really good on the defensive end. But I think this year's team might be his best offensive team. They just have a lot of weapons, and like he stressed, they're just so long and athletic. They come out of nowhere, block your shots, challenge your shots. If you're loose with your dribble, take the ball from you. And they got probably 6-7 different guys on that team that can dunk the ball. So and they play with great energy. They're playing really, really well. We saw them over at Westlake, and obviously we traded some film with Mike, and, they obviously played North Ridgeville very good this week, had a great win over there. And, with their style, they can put 100 up on you, and, they can beat you 100-90. They can beat you 50-30, so we will definitely be tested tonight. And, our guys are looking forward to it.
Mike referenced kind of a slower start. It always is when they talk about what they do football wise when they get going again. And a couple of weeks ago, he said, he's like, hey, we took on Falls in a conference game. We were not ready for what Olmsted Falls was going to do. And he's like, part of that's on me. Part of that's on our expectations. I think that's been flushed now, and they're starting to feel pretty good about it. Meanwhile, you got off to kind of a late start over there, too. We referenced that as well. We had your lid lifter over at Ridgeville, and for one half, that was one heck of a basketball game. It kind of got away from you as the game went on, but I think that, they maybe had 3 games under their belt by then, and then that was, again, you were first. You've been playing really solid ball ever since, Larry.
Yeah, after that, good open test against Ridgeville, we handled our conference schedule so far. I think we're like 5-0, and then had a week off, and went over to Open Door. And Allen's got a extremely young team. Had some guys out on vacation. last Saturday night. So he was down to like 7 guys. So we had a good game that I think helped both teams, so we got to play. So we didn't have 2 weeks off coming into this game. But obviously this is a huge step up as far as competition for us. I mean, it's everything you look forward to coaching against. They'll expose a lot of things, that we don't do well tonight. But part of the reason we play them at this stretch. We lead in not only Avon tonight. We go to Firelands Tuesday night, and they're finally healthy. So they got all their guys. They lost a tough one last night, but those guys are just starting. I think they may be their second or third game together. So they're not the same Firelands team from earlier in the year. That's going to be a really, really improved team, come January, February. So we got our hands full with them. And then, obviously we have Keystone on Friday night, who's, everybody knows what Keystone is this year and in years past. So this is a great test for us. And we really think, regardless what happens tonight, obviously we want to win, play well, do the things we've been working on, but also just to prep us for this week, of conference play.
Larry, what you just said, regardless of what happens tonight, we want to play well and prep us for conference play. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's kind of been your mantra since you took the job at Brookside, is to schedule tough non-conference opponents to test your team, to help them learn, get better, be uncomfortable, or be comfortable being uncomfortable in an environment, all to set you up for a very rugged Lorain County Conference play, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously want to go out of conference, and I'm not a big travel guy. I'd play everybody in Lorain County if I could. We'd play the whole SWC if they wanted to play us, Lorain High, anybody around here. So we think there's enough good competition just in this county that's available to us, to get us ready for league play. And honestly, like our league, sometimes, at least in the past, I think this year's a little different. I think top to bottom's a little bit more even, but in the past, some of the bottom teams have struggled a little bit, so you weren't challenged as much. And if you don't have a fairly competitive non-conference schedule, I mean, you're not really doing your kids any, you're not giving them any help when they get into these tough games with your better conference teams. You start getting prepared for the tournament. So you want to play good teams and understand where you stand. And like I said, we might be one of the better teams in our conference, but outside of our conference, there's basketball outside of our conference. And when you think you're good, we'll show you what good is, and how far you got to go to be, really good. So it's just a really good test for us. And again, we're excited for it. We got Amherst down the road. Obviously they're playing great. We got Fairview at the end of the year. So we got some good non-conference schedule games, just mixed in kind of in the right spots, between our conference games. So we really, really, like our schedule this year. And, hopefully, we'll play well when we're tested.
Larry, I haven't seen your team play this year, but I've certainly seen a lot of Brookside over the last couple of years. And for me, doing a Brookside game, it's already, it's always like, take the breaths when you can get it, because you're not going to get many opportunities to take a breath as a play-by-play guy, because you're up and down the floor. So my question is, are you the same type of team this year? Are you still up and down the floor? And then the follow-up to that is, how many shots would you like to see your team take? I mean, is there a number out there? When you look at some college programs that get up and down like you guys do, there is an actual number. We want to take an X amount of shots. What's it like for you?
Well, yes, we are the same. I would say we press less this year. I don't know. I don't think we can press Avon, to be quite honest. I think their guard plays too good. They're so long. They're a lot of times they're going to be in some of our positions, some of our guys, as we told them, they're going to be a foot taller than you. And then you take the arm length on top of it. You could have a great trap, but 2 5'9" guards, trapping a 6'6" kid ain't going to matter. He's just going to throw right over you. So offensively, we want to go as fast as we can, especially against an Avon, a Firelands, a Keystone. You don't want to go up against those teams' set defenses. I mean, they're just really, really tough to score on when you're going 5-on-5. So we want to go in transition. And then offense, it's not so much possessions. we want to get up in the 80s. We do a lot better when the higher the score is, the better our chances are. So, we stressed a lot of defense this week. I don't know how well it'll show tonight again, going up against Avon. But we've really focused on our defense this week because it's not been good. So, if we don't defend the rim better, if we don't box out better, we're going to get our butts kicked, not just tonight, all week. So, we've challenged the kids. They've had really a great 2 weeks of practice. But, I've been around where we've had terrible practices and played great, and we've had great practices and played awful. So I don't put a whole lot of stress. I just think each day is different. I think, again, the kids are excited. They know what Avon is as a program. They know what Avon has done, in their other sports, and, the challenges to play those teams. And again, I just appreciate Mike, giving us the opportunity to, play. And again, it's a good little rivalry, but we got to make it a more competitive rivalry on our end, and compete with Avon and, actually beat them. So, we'll see where we stand, later this evening.
Larry, before we let you go, and we'll be out there this evening, so we're looking forward to that. And thank you for having us at your place. Always good for us to be over there. One of the better venues for us, especially with our newer format now, to be secluded up there. So thanks for greasing the skids for us on that front. But one of the things that I would say, you mentioned this week, not just tonight, but the week ahead and everything that goes on with it, is this maybe the part on the calendar where if it doesn't go quite the way you want it to, you and the guys still have time to say what went wrong and what do we do different the last 5 weeks of the season?
Yeah, I mean, you have time, but the stakes are huge, for conference wise, just because, Keystone's Keystone, and it's going to be tough for any of us to beat them. So, you lose Firelands and Keystone this week. The conference could be done. So,
you've always been a getting late early guy. I know that.
Yeah, so like you can't be trailing that kind of a team that just it's going to take everybody's best effort to try to beat them. So you go back and you look at some things. If the conference gets away a little bit, maybe you start to play a few more guys. We try to play 8, but we have some guys I think that are ready. They're just really, really young and inexperienced guys. So that's probably the thing we'd look at, maybe being a little bit more aggressive, just saying the hell with it and just go 94 feet both ends and just try to beat people 110 to 100. We've done more defense this week than I've done in 5 years here. So if we can't do anything this week, I'm not going to hold it all again, because I'm telling you, Avon's the real deal. They are extremely talented. They can shoot it. They can rebound it. Mike runs great sets. His kids are physical. They make their free throws. So, we're going to be really, really tested, but we'll let it play out this week. Because again, Firelands is gelling really well. Keystone can score a ton of points on you. So, we're just going to see how this week plays. And, if we get the results we want, then we'll stick doing what we do. If not, we'll kind of get back to being crazy and maybe doing a little more of the 5 for 5 and just trying to wear everybody down. And, but we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't have to come to that, but, we always talk and always, prepare for the worst, I guess, if, need be, because then the conference ends up where you're probably going to need a miracle to get it. Then you got to start focusing on the tournament. And luckily, the last 3 years, kind of to maybe our detriment, we haven't focused on the tournament because the conferences came down basically to the last game the last 3 years. So I'm not going to look ahead to tournament when you got one of your, again, we don't call them goals, just one of your expectations right in front of you. You work all year for it. You can't start talking to kids about a Marlington or these teams that are in our district. So you have to keep them focused on the task at hand. And our guys have done a good job of that in the past. And this group's excited. They're a new group. They want to make their own mark, and they're excited for the challenge.
Boy, Larry, good luck tonight. That was a lot there. I got to tell you, Ron representing community college here, you might want to link up with him and just get a session with Larry about self-awareness, because I'm not sure that there's anybody we talk to week in and week out that is able to just give an audit of what their program is quite in the way that you do. So
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. I mean, and again, we always just tell the kids, man, we're honest with you. We don't lie about the opponents. We're about the play, good or bad. And we're real honest with them. We want them to be super confident, but we're the first ones that are going to call them out on their stuff, and vice versa. If they don't like something, that we're trying to install, they'll just tell us. So it's a good back and forth, and we have a lot of trust in our kids. And again, we're a prideful program, and we gotta earn it tonight. That this is a big mark outside of our league, and it's our LCA versus their SWC, and Jeff's done a good job stepping outside of the league. We need to carry our weight too tonight. So hopefully it'll be a great game. And again, as always, thanks for the time, and obviously happy New Year's to you guys, and we'll see you out there tonight.
See you tonight, Larry. Thanks again
Thank you, Larry.
for everything. That was great. So we'll catch up with you in about 6 hours. So thanks again, Larry. Larry Babbix with the Brookside Cardinals. We got to take a quick timeout. Pat Bray waiting on the other end patiently. He had a big weekend. We'll catch up with him in just a moment. Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show streaming on WEOL.com and also the Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorain County Community College is where you'll lock in your future success. LCCC will get you prepared, get you credentialed, and get you working. Lorain County Community College. Your goals, your career, your future. Enroll today.
And welcome back into the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar and Ron Yentz, now joined by Pat Bray with the Amherst Comets in his customary 1040 time slot. We're going to start calling that, Coach, because it seems that each week we catch up with you here. Huge week for you and your ball club, Pat. You guys have an emotional week over there with the the celebration of Coach Shaw, and it's over at Keystone. And you get past everything that goes on with that. All the honoring and the ceremonies and the hey, we're all one family, and then there's a basketball game to be played, and you guys came on top of a very good one earlier this week over at Keystone, and you guys 71-67 winners earlier this week, and what was a game that I think everybody in Lorain County had their eye on.
Yeah, and it showed. The crowd was awesome. The atmosphere was awesome. We had a packed gym, and Jeff and I talked a lot before the game. We talked about, hey, a lot of people showed up for this. Let's hopefully we can give them a good show. So it was a really good game.
You did that, and we had talked in the weeks leading up to that this was one that everybody had circled, not just because of what it means to both communities, but a great basketball game against like Larry mentioned, he's got no delusions of it. Keystone's one of the top teams in that conference. They're going to have to go through them if they want to be able to retain their crown. For you guys, certainly SWC aspirations. A lot of people locally have said, hey, that Amherst team is turning some heads. You've got a lot to lose in a matchup like that, Pat, when they look at you as the bigger school from the bigger conference, and you got to go on the road over to their place and win. You're able to do that, but that Keystone team is pretty special. They're loaded in terms of what they want to do in that starting five, and you guys had a test to answer.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, actually, though, we played at our place, so it was.
I'm sorry, to your place, right?
That's all right. No, that's what we talk about all the time. When you go on the road, it's a little different, but we've been playing well at home, and we try to talk. They're a really good team. So when we say LC8, we're saying, hey, they're the top right now in their conference. This isn't just another team we're going to play out of our conference. This is a really good team. So we prepared for it, and our kids held to the game plan. And we had to make a few adjustments at halftime because we stumbled there a little bit in the second quarter. But we came out the second half. We did the things that we made the adjustments for, and we were able to, squeak out that victory then.
Pat, how is the evolution of this year's team moved? I mean, when you look back to last year's team and maybe even the team before that and the development of this year's team, as Jared said, Amherst is talked about in the county this year and in the region as, hey, that's a team to be reckoned with. But it just didn't happen, starting in September of this past fall. It has evolved, hasn't it?
Yeah, no, we've been talking about it last summer. We talked about it that we could be a really good team, and we said we wanted to be a great team. So now, what is that? What does that pertain to? And I told them we've got a lot of pieces. It's awesome, but we got to be able to put those pieces together and be able to play, together and make this a one unit thing. And that's what these guys have been doing. I mean, if you look at our scoring each night, there's different, guys scoring in double digits. There's each different guys stepping up and making big plays at big moments. And that's what it takes to be a great team.
Who are some of those guys? An opportunity here to mention some players on your team that are, doing well and people should pay attention to.
Well, I mean, it starts with our point guard, Stanley Robinson. I mean, he's just been phenomenal. I mean, he takes the world on his shoulder. And, some games it's him stepping back and dropping down threes. Next thing you know, he's the guy cutting at 5'6", 5'7" through the lane, catching a pass and laying it in amongst the big guys. Then you go to David Duziak, who, David's been that solid kid I joke about all the time. I think he's on his COVID year or 6 years, something like that. It seems like he's been around for so long. Then you have Jack Coleman, a sophomore. He's another one of those guys that, he's only a sophomore, but he does big things for us. Then Mason Limer, the kid can jump out the gym. He's got a really nice jump shot. He can get to the basket. Then we go to Andrew Balicki, who last year Andrew had an injury, didn't play a whole lot as a junior, but then came back this year and he's our starter. And he, to me, is almost like that engine that gets you going. He's that physical, emotional guy. I remember against Lorraine, he went up, got fouled and won, and he just turned around and just screamed. And I mean, that's uncharacteristic of him. That just showed how much emotion he had into that game. And then you go to our 6'7" Gavin Beckler. Then Cole Scanlon, 6'3", comes off the bench. And then Cy Christensen comes over from Cleary, and he's just a great addition to our team. And then we got Peyton Leibacher, who lately has been coming off the bench, and he can shoot it from the three. So, I mean, we have 9 guys that have any.
Yeah, just mentioned 9. Yep.
Yeah, and that's the truth. I mean, any night it could be anyone different. And, that's what Cole Scanlon is 6'3", shoots it well. But, I mean, we've talked to him over the summer and said, hey, we need the defense to come around. He's been working his butt off at his defense. And, I mean, he's been shutting guys down. We told him to switch off of someone one game, and he goes, no, I got this. He shut him down. It was just really great to see.
And one of the things that stuck out to me there, and we've talked about it, you referenced integrating Cy Christensen into that program. There's a guy that was relied upon to do almost everything in previous walks of life where he was at in basketball. Play the point, take on the team's best defender, a tougher assignment as far as defensive. You've been able to, sort of say, you can take a step back. We got some of that covered, but we still need you to contribute. And it seems to me in the times that I've seen your ball club and him this year, it's having more fun maybe than it would have been in other years where he was just called upon to be Mr. Everything.
Yeah, you can see it's sort of a weight off his shoulder. He comes in, he does what he does well, and that's what, we talk to him all the time. He slashes, cuts, finishes at the rim really well. And we talked about it before this summer. That's something as a team we got to get better at. And I believe him doing that and our guys seeing how well it works, they bought in. And now you see us get a lot more to the basket, back doors and stuff like that this year than we have in the past.
Well, that's certainly been a recipe for you. We're going to let you get going on this one, Coach. Before we let you go, I just got to say, in the form of personal preservation and health, please tell me the fishing gear has not been broken out in 2026 yet.
It has not, but we are going hunting today. So,
Okay, well, all right.
Well, we got to get out there in nature someplace. That's just that's my peaceful place.
Yeah. All right. Well, I can concede to that. Just no fishing gear yet in this sort of weather. Don't do that to you and the boys.
Well, the Vermilion
thank
River,
you guys for having me on. Happy New Year. Good to see you guys.
Happy New Year, Pat.
Happy New Year, Pat. We will catch up with you down the road. All the best to you and your family in 2026. We're going to transition real quick. We'll go right to Eric Rothgary. He's been waiting patiently. Pat, thanks again. We'll catch up with you. Good luck on the hunting trail.
Thank you.
And as we mentioned, the aforementioned Eric Rothgary joins us now. He's over at the school. And what is a home cooking day for Eric Rothgary?
Can't hear you.
He can't hear us.
We're having the same issue. Eric, we're gonna break it
guys.
And jump back in.
Am I doing something?
You're gonna get back on in a second. So we'll effort Eric Rothgary. Ron will text him and say, hey, just dial back in. have to see what's going on because that interface has
Couple of times
worked
today, yeah.
most of the whole season so far, but we've had a couple times today where it hasn't. So we'll see if Eric Rothgary can get back in and connect with us. Each time we've done it, it's worked on the second try. So here he is. He's back again.
All right. I can hear you now.
And it's going to connect. Eric, do you have us now?
I do. Yeah. I had to get out and get back in. Are you there?
Why don't we take a break? And
I can hear you now.
Well, we've got Eric
Gotcha.
now.
I
Okay,
got you
the
back
second
now.
time it has worked the whole morning. We've had a couple of issues like that, and if somebody dials back in, it works. So thanks for the patience, Eric. Wanted to reference that you're at home today, and we didn't think you were going to be at home, but you explained to us that you took Lake Catholic up on their offer to come to your place today and get this one because they had something going on wrestling wise.
Right. I think they had a wrestling match out there today or tonight,
So
and they wanted to be able to set up.
You gladly saved that hour bus ride and said, come on over and play here in the Coliseum. You were not playing in the Coliseum this Tuesday past week where we had you over there at Berea Mid-Park in their Holiday Hoops Classic. You guys were the first game against Avon over at Berea Mid-Park in a game that was really, really close for a half before you guys were able to pull away in that second half. You did it with some impressive defense and some impressive perimeter shooting in that second half of play.
Yeah, I think it was a shall we say a cold start for everybody there at Berea. I mean,
I've never seen anything like it.
I'm guessing it was in the low 50s in there. What would
Had
you
to be.
think?
You're right, and every time that door opened, when somebody else would come in, another team or a spectator, it would give it that much worse because you had the wind and the 18-degree temperature. And
Yeah.
I don't think they had the heat on in that.
At one point, I'm yelling at the girls. I'm like, "How come nobody can catch a pass?" And Larry, my assistant, said, "Because it's 30 degrees in here." You know?
He wasn't wrong.
And so it got to be a little bit of a slow start, but I give Avon credit. I think they're close. Obviously, they're waiting for Pagan to get back from her injury. But they played hard the whole way. I mean, they kind of slowed down the game. I mean, if you look at the statistics, I feel like we did well. We rebounded well. We didn't have a ton of turnovers. We did a lot of things. We just didn't get a lot of shots. I think they did a good job kind of slowing the game down there, especially in the first half. We were able to pick up the pace in the second half and build a little lead, and then they never went away. They kept shooting right till the end. So I feel good about where we're at. I mean, our girls are starting. We spent a lot of time on that shooting machine. I think it's starting to pay off. So we're just trying to keep progressing one game at a time.
Yeah, Coach Kostrilla had a nice game plan. I think in that first half, as you mentioned, he built a little bit of a lead, and they were able to slow it down, keep it away from you at times. And then you really flipped the switch, I think, at the half and made some adjustments because the shooting that wasn't necessarily there, or the opportunities that weren't there in the first half, it seemed like you guys really capitalized in that third quarter. That was the difference in the ball game in our eyes because, like you said, the fourth, they never went away. It's just you were able to do that much in the third quarter to assert yourself.
Yeah, we knocked down some shots. We've had Lena Bray come off the bench the last 3 games and knock down a couple of threes. I think she had 3 in the second quarter there.
Incredible.
Another in the third. If she can keep shooting like that, we're going to be in really good shape this year.
Let's stay with shooting for a second. Eric, you mentioned, shooting in practice and using, I think you called it the basket machine or the shooting machine. How much time does a high school basketball Eric Rothgary coach team spend shooting in practice? Not drilling, but just shooting.
We're on that machine 20 to 30 minutes a day. And then obviously everything else we do involves some shooting, but that is pretty much strictly shooting. The last 20 minutes to a half hour, depending on how practice is going, Coach Riddell will take what I call the shooters down on the shooting machine, and Coach Sunderman takes the post, and I kind of mix myself between both. And, we try to put that time in every day. I tell people all the time, it's not a very complicated game. You got to be able to make baskets. And if you're going to make baskets, you got to be able to shoot. If you're going to shoot well, you're going to have to practice it. So we do try to put the time in on it.
So is it 30 minutes in a 90-minute practice, 30 minutes in a 2-hour practice?
It depends. We practice between between 90 minutes and 2 hours is our general time, somewhere in between there. At this point in the year, I think might have told you guys last week, we try to cut it back. Bob Walsh told me a long time ago that if you can't get it done in an hour and a half after Christmas, it's on you as a coach. So I try to cut the practices back because it's a longer season. Spend a lot of time on shooting. We'll spend a little bit of time on game planning for the particular team that we're playing, and then just get through some drilling and work on some offensive sets, the normal stuff that you'd see at practice every day.
So, Eric, to stick with that theme, the Coach Walsh recommendation, if you can't get it done in 90 minutes after Christmas, it's on you as a coach. What is it that you want to get done now with this current team?
You want to perfect everything that you're doing. We're not a big team that we get together a handful of times in the summer. This particular fall, I don't think we had one open gym in the fall just because we had so many kids in volleyball, and we have a couple kids in cross country. So it's a process for us. So we have pretty much all our offensive sets and things in, but we want to just get a little better at them, try to peak toward the tournament time.
Eric, tell us about your opponent today in Lake Catholic. Again, you were supposed to make the trip out there. They're coming to you. We know exactly where you're at. We can see you in the gym right now.
Yeah, I'm sitting at one of your table spots. There.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, I think he's keeping it warm for us. We're not going to make it over there for 1 o'clock. I'm sorry, Eric, but if
no
you
problem.
could just let us know a little bit about Lake Catholic. Not somebody that we run into that often. You guys see him, in conference play.
I think last year they had a good balance on their team. They had some good guards. They had a couple of nice posts. They're really a guard-oriented team this year. They're young. They had a lot of seniors last year. I think their record right now is 4-5. I don't think they have somebody over 5'7" or 5'8" on their roster that I can see. And as watching us, we got some decent size. So obviously we're going to try to exploit some of that with some inside stuff, but I'm sure they're prepared for us, and they're going to double down and make us kick the ball out and look to turn our posts into passers. So I think we're ready for it, though.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time this morning. I know you had a busy week. We referenced it dating back to last week when we caught up with you. You had 3 games in 6 days over a break. Right. That's kind of strange.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe the scheduling gods did you a favor.
Yeah, maybe. All right. Well, thanks for having me
Eric.
on, and thanks for everything you guys do. I appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. Good luck this afternoon, and hey, glad you didn't have to take an hour-long bus ride there and back.
Yeah, I am
this
too.
Would be great.
I am too. All right, see you guys.
Coach, take care. Thanks a lot for joining us this morning. So, yeah, Eric Rothgary, he brings us home on the first show of 2026. I'm going to take a real quick break, Ron. We're going to let everybody know what's going on here later today on WEOL.com, and we'll say goodbye after that. Stick around for one last segment of the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show, streaming online at WEOL.com and on that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.
At Nick Abraham Buick GMC, we offer the greatest customer experience around, plus upfront, no haggle pricing, and great deals. Right now, lease the 2025 GMC Sierra for just $339 a month. Stop in or shop us at buyabraham.com.
Lorraine Medina Rural Electric offers a quick and easy way to pay bills online, monitor your daily electric use, and receive updates from your cooperative through SmartHub. Members can sign up for this service at www.lmre.org or contact the LMRE office at 440-647-2133 for more information.
All right, wrapping it all up here on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show. Jared Kozar along with Ron Yance. Want to thank our sponsors here this morning. Nick Abraham Buick GMC, Nick Abraham Elyria Ford on Route 57 in Broad Street in Elyria, Lorraine Medina Rural Electric Cooperative, your Touchstone Energy Corporation, Eco Tree Services, your complete tree care company, and Lorraine County Community College. High-quality education for good jobs. Caught up with some folks from Lorraine County Community College this morning. Caught up with Ron Yance, my tag team partner. We want to let you know more boys basketball coming your way today on WEOL.com. It'll be Rocco over at Brookside tonight. And again, Brookside taking on Avon in what is a great non-conference matchup. Should be 2 good communities represented over there at the Cardinal Gymnasium this evening.
Absolutely. And we got a great preview from both coaches back to back.
Did a great job. Good working with you, Ron. Good to have you back in the fold. And, here's to a great 2026. Happy New Year to all of you. And we will catch up with you this week throughout our broadcast, and certainly again next week here on the Nick Abraham Saturday Sports Wrap-Up Show each and every Saturday, 9 to 11 on WEOL.com and that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel.